Brought to you by Raising the Vibe, a nonprofit organization supporting the growth of conscious communities.
Rebecca Becker, welcome to our virtual speaker series tonight with Raising the Vibe. Just as a little background on Raising the Vibe, we are a nonprofit organization that started out of Atlanta just 1 year ago, and our mission is to support the growth of conscious communities. And we didn't really know what that, we just kind of knew that's what we want to do, and we didn't really know what would show up, but we've just had a series of speakers and presentation that really have provided a lot of great content around self-actualization tools, personal transformation, holistic healing, spiritual knowledge, and conscious community practices. So we're thrilled tonight to welcome Maxine Taylor. She's America's first licensed astrologer. Hey, Maxine. And we met Maxine at a small group. She knew about us from a friend and showed up to one of our small group discussions, and we knew that she was a part of our group right away. We felt chills all over and felt like, wow, we're going to be a partner with Maxine, and we're just so grateful that you joined us. She's just got tremendous knowledge about what's going on astrologically, which is really so pertinent to what's going on in the world right now. As we sit here on June 4th, just as some context for this recording, that it is riotous in the street. There's many cities that have curfews. So we're at a really volatile time. This right on top of the COVID-19 shutdown and lockdown. So it's an interesting time in the world right now. So as that with a precursor, I'd love to introduce Maxine to take it from here. Thank you, Maxine.
Okay, first of all, I do really well with questions. I'm delighted to be here with everybody. I have to tell those of you who weren't at the meeting, my first meeting, I came because I was curious, and the next thing I knew, I was on the, what did we call it, administrative advisory board. And I thought, I just came here for lunch. I don't, but anyhow, I'm thrilled to be part of this organization. I think it's beautiful. And thank you for inviting me today. Rebecca, I want to do it in whatever order you would like me to do it. I can start with the United States picture. I can start with personal picture. Whichever you would like me to, or anybody in the group, if you have a preference, tell me what you'd like. I'm here to serve you.
I think just kind of a view of what's going on in the United States, really. I mean, I think what's going on in the United States is very similar to what's going on in the world as well. But yeah, there's just so much chaos going on. Can you just put some perspective of what we're facing and kind of what kind of cycle we're in and when we saw this kind of chaos in the past?
Absolutely, I'll be glad to do that. I usually, when I go into a forecast of any type, I give great detail because you know, energy starts and then backs up, then it starts and again and it backs up. As I look forward, some of you may have already been on my YouTube channel, where if you go there, there's a featured video with sound and everything. You better turn your sound down because I'll blast at you. I talked about Pluto. We have something that is incredible. Pluto has a return engagement to its own place in the United States birth chart every 248 years, I believe, 268, 248, whatever it is. It's happening now. Now, Pluto is the planet of out with the old, in with the new. It's total transformation. Pluto, if you are Pluto and you're going to fix up your house, Pluto isn't going to say, gee, you know, I really want to keep this wall right here with the door. And Pluto says, we're taking it down to the bare bones and we're building it all up again. And that is exactly what's going on now. Now, if we count backwards 248 years, what we had then was the Revolutionary War. And the situation our world is in now, certainly in the United States, is that we're talking about victimization. We're talking about suppression of people. We're talking about death of blacks. We're talking of every issue that we dealt with during the Revolutionary War is back up in our faces. And we have social media now. And people are saying, we're mad as hell and we're not taking it anymore. We have National Guard coming in. We have a leader who incites riots. And so we are facing the same issues now that we did then. And my feeling is it always works out beautifully. In another 248 years, we'll just have to see how this works. But right now, between now and 2024, Pluto, the planet of death and rebirth, it is the highest of height and the lowest of low. It rules evil. It rules total transformation and rebirth. It is the phoenix rising on its own ashes. Atlanta is the Phoenix City. What did we do? After the war, we rebuilt. And the joke is they're tearing up Peachtree again because they're constantly rebuilding. And there are remnants of the Revolutionary War and the Civil War in Atlanta. We're proud of our history. So this is what we're going through. And it has, with Pluto, it lies undercover and it grows and it explodes, and that's what's happening. But this is the beginning of it. Now, believe it or not, there's more to come. I have so much to share with you. So forgive me, I'm a Gemini, I jump all over the place. So I'm gonna just think of this and that and the other and share it. On and off between now and next year at this time, these rebellions are going to continue. And I can talk about the presidential election as possibly being part of that. Okay, that's a whole nother story. If you're interested in my forecast for the presidency, the presidential election, just go to my YouTube channel, Maxine Taylor, Astrologer. Back Thanksgiving of 2018, I had to know how the election was going to turn out. And things were a lot different then. And what I said was, if on November 3rd, 2020, Trump is in DC or New York, he will lose. If he's in Mar-a-Lago, there's a real good chance he'll win. Now, I didn't say it that way. I couched my terms because I know how people listen to what an astrologer or a psychic or somebody who knows more about a topic than they do. I know the power that that person has, and I take my power that influence very seriously, and because it scares me. I'm very conscious of what I say. And some of you who've seen my videos know that when I'm on YouTube, see, I'm talking my typical Gemini way now. But on my YouTube channels, I pause because I am afraid, since I have the Sun conjunct Uranus, those of you who study astrology know what that means, that I'm gonna blurt something out and just regret it, because you can't unsay it and you can't unhear it. And I'm not trying to use my YouTube channel as a platform. It's to educate people. Okay, so moving forward now, with the next 4 years, we are going to be undergoing a total transformation. You might say, well, is that because Trump wins or loses? It doesn't matter, we're going through it. First of all, if Biden takes off, if we have an election on November 3rd, because anything is possible, as we know from the White House. Anything. So if we have an election and assuming we will, Biden wins, it's going to take 4 years to undo and redo what has already transpired. If Biden loses and Trump wins, the rebellions that I'm looking at here make sense, and they increase. Because remember, we now have National Guard in the picture. We are talking about a situation that was unthinkable last year, and we have it now. So that's the bottom line on the United States chart. Now, little good news, now that I've shared that delightful information with you. I did a video recently on YouTube about looking forward in the United States chart in the areas, only the areas of money, health, and jobs. Because remember, the pandemic, quote unquote, has been in our forefront, but now it's been replaced by the people marching and the terrorists who have infiltrated and are burning buildings and tearing down buildings and just wreaking havoc and destruction. The United States money will improve during the next few months. We have a lovely eclipse. I forget where it is, but we have an eclipse and the transiting planets after the rioting move into the area of money. And so there can be more money. It's going to be with Pluto, remember, going back and forth over its place in our United States birth chart. And that place is, here it is. This is the United States chart. You notice there's only one planet there. It's Pluto in the 9th house. I wanted to make sure everybody looked at that. Pluto in the 9th house is total transformation of our belief systems, of our importing and exporting, of long distance travel, of higher education, I'll give you the whole list here in a second. Here we go. It's the Supreme Court, foreign travel, higher education, religion, science, our philosophy, world trade, universities. I mean, now we've had graduation ceremonies taking place online. Who would have thought of that? College classes not taking place in person, which is part of the joy of being a college student. Everything is undergoing a change. And the way to get through it is to be as flexible as possible. Those of us who are consultants, we will do very, very nicely. We will be able to help, and I'm encouraging every light worker, every walk-in, every starseed, every healer to step forward, because right now is when we are needed. And I've had people say, oh, well, I'm not ready. Yes, you are. You're ready for what you will attract to you at your level. Do not let your ego get into it. And for God's sake, don't let your programming get into it, because your left brain will tell you why you're not good enough. You are God in an earthbound body. You are love. You are light. You are magnificence. Wherever you're at, create your world around you, because it starts grassroots. Yay. And we've seen that. So the next 4 years, Pluto going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. After 2014, after all the transition has occurred, and remember, this includes Earth changes, okay? Now, this is in the United States chart. It's not in anybody else's chart because of where Pluto is in our chart. But everybody, every one of us has Pluto somewhere in our birth chart. And that's the area where we can bring about enormous change. And if you had your chart in front of you, I would go through every chart and tell you, if you have Pluto in the 10th house, here's what it means. If it's in the 6th house, here's what it means. But we don't, so never mind. Okay, I sound like Gilda Radner, never mind. So we are now headed forward, and we are in the most confused time we've had in a long time, because Mercury and Venus are tag teaming us. Now I have to explain what's going on. Some of you already know this because I've done your chart, or you've studied astrology and you know this. Mercury rules communication, correspondence, and transportation, our mouth and our minds. Venus rules money and beauty and all. It's one of the good guys. When these planets go retrograde, Mercury goes retrograde 3 times a year, Venus goes retrograde less than that, Mars less than that. This year, Mercury, of course, goes retrograde 3 times. It's going to go retrograde any minute now, and Venus is retrograde, and then Mars is going to go retrograde. And I'm going to tell you what this means for the world. This is for the world. Okay, when Mercury goes retrograde, it appears to be moving backwards. Venus, same thing, appears to be moving backwards. Same thing, Mars appears to do nothing. When these planets go retrograde and appear to be moving backwards, that's how it feels here on planet Earth. Now, before it goes retrograde, we're in what's called the shadow of the retrograde, when we feel it, but it's not wreaking havoc. Okay. We are going to be experiencing either a retrograde or a shadow all year. Now, when we're in the shadow of the retrograde, we feel like it's retrograde. We do not begin new projects on a retrograde Venus or Mercury or Mars. Well, forget Mars. Mars is action and energy. When it's retrograde, you can't even get it off the ground. But that's later this year. The last time Mercury goes direct, meaning it comes out of retrograde, is November 3rd. That's the day of the presidential election. And whenever there's a change from retrograde to direct, meaning forward motion, or forward motion to retrograde, meaning backward motion, the energy changes. There is, what did Darth Vader say? A flux in the force. And there is confusion. So we know that Mercury's going to go direct, that's forward, on the day of the presidential election. So, okay, the argument that's been put forth, mail-in ballots, Russia messing with our elections. Here in Georgia, we know Kemp held, what's her name, 30,000 ballots back. They disappeared, they were not to be found. For the governor's race. When Mercury goes direct, it's going to be confused. If we have an election, it'll be challenged. Surprise. They'll want a recount. Surprise. So this is what we're dealing with. There is really no time. I thought there was from the end of July until the end of August, when you could start a new project, start a new career, etc. But I realized Mars is in the shadow of the retrograde. And everybody has to see how it works in their own chart. So when Mars goes retrograde, and I've got these dates here, let me just go sequentially. Here we are. Okay. Mercury entered the shadow of the retrograde on the 2nd. What's today? The 4th. So 2 days ago, it entered the shadow of the retrograde. I'm so glad that our video and audio is working because that was my concern. Mercury goes retrograde on the 18th. Venus is retrograde. It goes direct on the 25th. So here we go. Mercury's retrograde on the 18th. Venus goes direct on the 25th. That week, both of them are retrograde. My feeling is it's going to be a tipping point of some type. Now, I could be wrong because it's hard to predict how it's going to manifest because it's hard to predict what is going to be happening in the White House. But I feel that with both of them tag teaming us, this is a time of major confusion. Do not buy a new car now. Do not get married now. Do not start any new projects. Instead, tie up the loose ends of unfinished business. Are you writing a book? Finish it. You might say, well, I'm writing a book and I want to finish it, but can I publish it? Depends on when you do it. I might be able to find you a moment in time when you could do that. And this is what I do for people a lot. You know, I have to have surgery. Everything's retrograde. Can you find one day when I can have the surgery? And sometimes we can. So all during the rest of the year, that's what's going on. Now let me continue. Mercury goes direct July 12th. July 25th, Venus is still in the shadow. On the 25th, Mars enters the shadow of its retrograde. And when Mars goes retrograde, Mars is action and energy and war and sex and let's go. When it goes retrograde, it flatlines. It's like, nothing happens. It's like you throw spaghetti up on the wall and see if it sticks. Teflon. Nothing. And I haven't put it this bluntly on YouTube because I haven't been asked to and I was led not to. On my YouTube channel, when I saw what was going on this last weekend, I said there might be a little bit of rebellion. Okay, I understated myself. I don't want to knock on my door, so I understated myself. This little bit of rebellion is going to continue for another year. However, I'm going to jump ahead. On November, let me see what date that is, November 30th. Now, Mars is still doing its thing and Mercury is still doing its thing. The United States has an eclipse on its ascendant. Everybody has an ascendant in their birth chart. It is your physical body. It is you. It's the most personal point in the chart. You get an eclipse on your ascendant, it is a new life for you. It's not a new chapter. It's a whole new book. And I'm thinking, holy cow, this is fabulous. But you never know how it's going to be because we're dealing with millions of people in a mundane chart. However, this is what I was looking for. Even though we're going to have rioting and arguing and fighting, and we have an eclipse, we have two eclipses in the United States, 7th house. The houses are the different compartments of our life. That deals with other people. It deals with open enemies. And at that point, the gunfire and fighting can be squelched. It can be diminished. The question is, how will that happen? this new life eclipse gives us the opportunity for a new start. And a new life eclipse lasts way longer than a regular eclipse. We've got 3 eclipses this summer, and I'm going to describe them for you in your solar chart so that you know what's going to be triggered for you. And remember, unless you're downtown Atlanta after curfew throwing Molotov cocktails at the police, you're not going to be personally affected unless they move into the suburbs. And of course, Rebecca, you're far, far away, so it's a different story. But this beautiful, idyllic suburb that I live in, Marietta, we don't have that. But those of you living in Buckhead are a little closer to it. All right, so where was I going? All right. The new life eclipse sits on the United States ascendant, and that will, most eclipses, we feel the effects till the next pair come along, but they're at their peak 3 to 4 months after they occur. The peak 3 to 4 months after this, let's see, December, January, February and March of 2021. That is just before the time when, if there is going to be a great deal of anger on the part of the people, of gunfire on the part of the people, rebellion and revolt on the part of the people, here is this eclipse on the ascendant, and here is Mars on the United States ascendant. And so this can be a real tipping point for us. The first tipping point I'm looking for is this month, the 18th to the 25th, confusion. And I've been saying all along, we ain't seen nothing yet. And my friends have said, well, how could it get any worse? And I said, we ain't seen nothing yet. And we know why, because we see what's going on now. And it's unthinkable. But it had to surface in order, Pluto, to be totally destroyed, and so that we could rise up, born again. So that eclipse is very positive for the United States, although there will be lots of gunfire and lots of fighting and all that kind of stuff. And then December 14th, that's this year, there can be our open enemies, the enemies we see, the enemies we know, call the shots. So I'm not sure how this is going to manifest, simply because we have to wait to see just prior to the event. And again, if Biden wins, it's one thing. If Trump stays in office, it's another. So before I go into your personal, beautiful eclipses, Rebecca, if it's okay, I'd like to ask if there are any questions now. I know we said we'd do the questions at the end, but I'm feeling people may have, because of what I've said, some concerns.
So yes, so let's do that. And I guess we can feel free to unmute yourself and just jump in with any questions that you may have.
I have a question. Forgive me, I got a little lost when you were talking about February and March of 2021. Can you go back and review that piece?
Absolutely, I'll be glad to, honey. February and March. This is a time when Mars, the planet of war, the planet of anger and passion, sits on the United States ascendant. And that's the cusp of the first house. And the first house of a country's chart is the political attitude of the people. We are seeing our first house triggered right now because of all of the, not because, well, it manifests as all of the fighting around the country. not just in Atlanta, of course, but everywhere. It's in Europe too, of course, but it's the attitude and political mood of the people. It's also public health. And isn't it interesting that that coronavirus should stir itself up, or get stirred up, I should say, get stirred up, followed quickly by riot, pillage, and plunder. This is Pluto, and that is what will be going on at the first quarter of next year. Again, with so many millions of people involved. Oh gosh, birds are flying into my wall of glass on my living. I have a wall of glass in my living room, and oh dear. And I'm thinking that's 5G anyway. Sorry, that bird. I lost my train of thought on that one. But that's what's going on. Oh, I know what it was. We are reliving everything that Pluto rules. And check out, I just put my YouTube video up yesterday. It's on my YouTube channel, Maxine Taylor, Astrologer. It's free, of course. And it's the featured video. When you turn on YouTube, turn your volume down because, you know. Does that answer your question, honey? Good. Anybody else? Okay. So shall we move on with the personal eclipses for everybody and give you a little uplift? Because remember, unless you're down there fighting, you won't be in the thick of it. Famous last words. Okay. All right, I have so many sheets. Here we go. All right. I've got the eclipse patterns for each sign for the summertime eclipses. And the reason I didn't do the November and December eclipses, although I certainly can very quickly, if you'd like me to. The reason I did the summer eclipses is because Mercury and Venus are doing this tag team number. And in light of everything that's going on, we've got confusion. We don't know who to believe. Well, don't believe anybody. Ask within. Ask your personal inner God. What is the right thing for you to do? Whether it's the virus, whether it's to go down there and wave a flag, you know, stick a bowl with a pitchfork. You have to do what's right for you. And if you trust the created instead of the creator, which lives in you, you may be scared, you may be angry, and that's the world. So I'm going to tell you what is triggered in it's for your sign. And I used to not really think a whole lot of sun sign kind of stuff. Because I'm a serious astrologer and we do charts, you know, based on the month, day, and year, and city, and all that exact time. But what I've come to find out is this sun sign astrology, solar astrology, works so beautifully and sometimes more accurately than the birth chart. So here we go. And please feel free to make notes. Because you're going to want your own, you're going to want your friends and relatives. And I tend to be a very positive astrologer. But I just shared with you, I may pay a price for physically because I don't go into negativity. And it is what it is, you know. Okay. So I think my air conditioning just, yes, okay. Aries. Now, we have a full moon tomorrow, and it's an eclipse. These are all eclipses. So if I say full moon, new moon, it's eclipse. You're seeing a much bigger picture. You're ready to expand your horizons. You're ready to soar. Full moon on the 21st, totally different. It says stay home, don't leave the house, sit in front of the TV, watch Netflix, be with your family. The full moon on July 5th, very interesting, don't you think, the timing on that? The day after July 4th, which is our Independence Day. I predict there's going to be action. Your career is triggered, your public image. If you're an Aries, I'm going to suggest to you, even though everything seems to be retrograde, that this is the time to move upward in your career and move into the top slot. It's that simple. This is for an Aries sun sign or ascendant. Taurus. Tomorrow's full moon has you saying, I just want to get to the bottom of things. I don't understand everything and I got to do research. What is triggered is the area of secrets. You want to get to the cause of things. And, you know, once a Taurian makes up their mind, they don't stop until they get what they want, until they get their answers. So this is a time to look beneath the surface at what's really going on. And if you have mutual funds or stocks or bonds or something like that, I would not start a whole new project with them, but rework them. The full moon on the 21st has you ready for a short trip. You're bored, you want to get going, you want to move around, cool. Are you writing a book? Do you have a blog? Write it, because the full moon on July 5th has you publishing. It also has you saying, I see options I didn't know I had, and go after them. Gemini, tomorrow's eclipse has other people calling the shots. You want to get out of your house and interact with other people. You're tired of being cooped up. You don't have the virus. You're ready to get out there. The full moon falls in the area of your life where your money starts moving forward. Doesn't everybody wish they were a Gemini? So your money is moving forward on June 21st. That's the new moon. And then the full moon on July 5th has you saying, you know, I still need to dig around and do more research. I don't believe what I'm hearing, and I'm going to get to the bottom of things. Cancerians, tomorrow's eclipse emphasizes your health and your job. And when I say emphasizes, I don't mean negatively. I mean, if you're not feeling well, this can improve. This can indicate an improvement in your health. The full moon on the 21st has you saying, I am doing what I want, when I want, how I want, because I want. It's your turn. Do it your way. I encourage you. And then I don't want you to think that you're going to go off the deep end with yourself, because the full moon on the July 5th has other people calling the shots, which balances the eclipse on June 21st. And so it's a give and take and give and take. How lovely is that? Maybe you have a Cancerian child. Think of your children. Think of your grandchildren. But first, think of yourself. You got to take care of number one, right? Leo. Tomorrow's eclipse says have fun, party. That's it, party. If you have kids, spend time with them, but party. Enjoy yourself, party. Yes, okay, I think you get the message. And the eclipse on the 21st, the new moon says, I'm leaving town. I'm getting out of Dodge. I just need to be away from everybody. Too much partying. I want my solitude. I want my privacy. And the full moon on July 5th says, I really need to get busy on my work and my job. And if you have had a health issue, you can resolve it because the full moon, once again, can bring things to a head to be settled. Virgo. Tomorrow's eclipse says to dear sweet Virgo that crosses all the T's and dots all the I's, I want to stay home with my family. I got a lot of yard work to do. So we're talking about staying home. The new moon on the 21st, totally different. Socializing with friends, maybe humanitarian groups. This would be a terrific time to get busy, perhaps doing something for our organization. You just never know. And the full moon on July 5th, party. This is terrific. So you're ready for fun, which is really cool. Now, I know Virgo, it has to be perfect, so you'll make it perfect, but it'll be good. Libra, tomorrow's eclipse has you talking and sharing ideas, and you're bored and you need to keep your gas tank full because you want to hit the ground running. Do it. The new moon on the 21st, and remember that is a solar eclipse, has you moving upstairs in your career. Throw yourself into the top slot. Be the leader. If you have any Libra in your chart, it is time for you to step forward as the leader. And I know for a lot of people I've spoken with, they're not ready to step up. If not you, who? If not now, when? The full moon on the 5th, July 5th, emphasizes Libra, your home and family. And so this is a time to stay home. Remember, the June 21st eclipse puts you in the limelight. Your career is where your fame, your recognition is triggered. And then the full moon says, I'm going to stay home with my family, maybe cook out. Scorpio, tomorrow's eclipse brings you money because it opens your eyes to a whole new way of looking at things. Your values can change. I love this for you. This is great because Scorpio, it's all or nothing with you guys. So somebody's got to win the lottery. Somebody's got to get the money. You know what I'm saying? Dare to do it. Dare to step forward. It doesn't matter what you were taught as a child. It'll try and hold you back. The mind only knows what it knows, and the mind's going to tell you why you can't do it. I'm looking at your chart here, and I'm saying, yes, you can. New moon, solar eclipse on the 21st, you see the big picture. You want to go long, higher education, long distance travel. You know, there are seats available on airlines. People do want to travel. And the full moon on July 5th, short trips, talking to people, communicating. So do your long distance travel at the end of June and short distance right around July 4th. It's interesting that we're celebrating our nation's birth, and there's an eclipse that very same day. Very interesting. Well, the 5th, okay, a day later. Sagittarius, all right. Do what you want, when you want, how you want, because you want. It's your turn, it's your way. Do not hold yourself back. Sagittarius says, I never hold myself back. Well, you're really not going to hold yourself back now. On the 21st, you're ready for a transformation. Be the psychic detective that you're looking for. Look beneath the surface. Make sure that you know exactly what's going on. Don't take no for an answer. It's a time to look beneath the surface. And I have a question for you, actually for everybody here. When you all saw the looting and the pillaging and the rioting, did you say, wonder who's behind all this? If you did, you are the psychic detective, because it came out that there were forces outside of the United States and outside the calmly marching environment that were escalating things, that were inciting riots, that were breaking the windows, that, I mean, they were taking advantage of a peaceful march. So that's, when I say a psychic detective, that's what I'm talking about. Okay. Full moon on July 5th. Money. Sag, that's you. Money. And you can create more yourself. And I've been telling lots of people, with people out of jobs, find something that you can do. Now, I don't know people who are out of jobs personally, but those people who are, find something you can do that you can capitalize on, that you can monetize. Something even as simple as mowing lawns, landscaping. Find your hobby and think in terms of starting that as a business. It's a whole new world that we're heading into. All right, Capricorn. If you're a Capricorn, you don't mope, you don't hope, you cope. And we've had several planets in Capricorn, including Saturn, which is its ruler, and Jupiter, and of course, good old Pluto. Really, really powerful time for Capricorn. The full moon on tomorrow has you pulling back and retreating, saying, I just need to be alone. I don't want to be out there with those crazy people. I just want to be alone. Well, on the 21st, that full moon, the new moon, has you getting out there and being with people. So for 2 weeks, you'll be by yourself, or you'll want to be alone. And then lo and behold, you're out there saying, okay, I'm here, world. Where are you? And then the full moon, the lunar eclipse on July 5th for you is you're doing your thing your way. And your mantra becomes lead, follow, or get out of the way. And so it really is a kind of a preparatory time. First the hibernation, then getting out there and being with other people, and then saying, I'm doing it my way. And I think that's terrific. Aquarius, wow. Well, Aquarius, marches to its own drummer. I love Aquarians. They broke the mold when they did Aquarius, because no two Aquarians are alike. They're all different. And I always say to Aquarians, quit trying to be an earthling, and why would you want to be? So the eclipse tomorrow triggers your group activities, your humanitarian activities, your humanitarian attitude about life. You are a friend to all. And that's what we're looking at here. I love it. Then the new moon on the 21st has you working, throwing yourself into your job. The first eclipse tomorrow is play, be with friends, maybe march somewhere, do something with a group that is a humanitarian group that's working for the good of the whole, because that's what Aquarius does. And then the new moon on the 21st is an eclipse and says, I got to get busy on my job. This is a good time to get a new job. But the full moon on July 5th says, I'm out of here. I can't be with all you people with firecrackers and things like that. I'm going off to Helen, Georgia. I'm going to the mountains. I'm going away. I want to be by myself so that I can pull back and retreat. And I'm thinking that sounds like a great plan to me. And last but not least, Pisces. Tomorrow's eclipse really propels you into the limelight. Be prepared to be on stage. Be prepared to be the leader. Step forward. Move into the spotlight. Be the leader you've been looking for. Okay? What we do is we look to other people to tell us what to do. We look to other people to take care of us. Step up and do it your way. What'll happen is you'll attract your own. Law of attraction is going to bring it to you. And so your career picks up tomorrow. The new moon on the 21st, party. If you've got kids, play with them. Have fun with them. If you don't have kids, or even if you do have kids, it's time for fun. It's very important to balance that career thing that will be going on with fun. And then the final eclipse, July 5th, says, I want to be a friend to all. The eclipse on June 21st, by the way, when I say party, anytime I say party, that means your love life can pick up. If there's nobody special in your life, you can get out there and party and find them. I will not be partying, unfortunately. Okay, moving right along. And last but not least, that eclipse on the 5th brings out the humanitarian in you, the visionary in you. It's so lovely. And you want to be a friend to all. So I feel like I've tied it up with a bow, Rebecca, and I welcome any questions from anybody about anything.
Yeah, I'd love to have you guys unmute, ask anything. If you just have a general question about astrology and like how does this all work that Maxine can answer, or anything that's coming up for you, please bring it on.
Okay, I just wanted to know the Cancer one again for July 5th. I didn't quite catch that.
July 5th, relationships.
Okay.
One-on-one relationships, getting out there and being with people. If you are single, this is the ideal time to get out there. And you know, the quarantines are you know, everything's loosening up. People are getting out there more. We are social animals. We require each other. Yes, we have to get away from each other and recharge on occasion, but what I'm seeing are loving people. When I go to Publix and I see people, strangers, smiling at strangers, people being considerate in traffic, considerate with their buggies in Publix and Kroger. To me, I think of that song and I say to myself, what a wonderful world. Because that's how I see it. I see what's going on in the United States chart, but I see our world and our as brothers and sisters. Before this show, this group, I recorded my full moon ceremony, and it's on my YouTube channel. And when I do my full moon ceremonies at the Phoenix and Dragon, they're not doing them during the coronavirus. I get, you know, like 50, 60, 70 people on that teeny little patio. And I have several things that I do that help us move into a state of love. And so by the time we're finished, everybody is one. We are one. What happens to one happens to all of us. We feel it. And the love that forms at that ceremony is amazing. I get people all different colors, all different persuasions, who are coming from love and looking at one another as friends. To me, that's the most thrilling thing. And I see that happening, at least where I live, but then again, I don't go downtown. Does that make sense to you guys? I know I'm not alone in that. You have to be seeing love everywhere because it is. And that's an answer to your question about the 7th house. Interacting with other people, being there for them, just smiling at them. When you come from light, I know I'm preaching to the choir on this, but when you come from light and you put your hand on your heart and you're coming from love, that's what you emanate. And your mere presence, just blinking and breathing and looking cute, you lighten the load for everybody around you. You smile at a stranger. Now there are some very painful things going on. We're losing relatives and friends. They're checking out. They're saying, all right, I'm gonna let you handle this phase of the United States growth. And they're out of here. So it's up to us to just let it rip. You have nothing to lose. You are love itself. We are love itself. And this beautiful organization makes it possible for us to come together at the same level from love. And you asked about the 7th house. God, can you tell I'm a Gemini? I didn't shut up. Anything else? Well, gosh, it was great being here.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Rebecca, take it away.
Thank you, everybody, for showing up. I hope you can attend, check out our website, raisingthevibe.org. We have Zoom calls that I'm doing every Wednesday. We have kind of a standard group. We have about 7 people that get together at 10 o'clock on Wednesday. It's on our website. And it's really just to share. And it's more of like a personal circle with whatever's coming up. We had a couple people in tears on Wednesday, given what was going on, but we kind of held space for that. And every Friday, except this Friday, my daughter, Kate, does a healing meditation circle. So check out our website for that and get the Zoom link and just join in. She does free meditation, healing, whatever's coming up for her. And she's got a website, Open Eye Tribe. And then we're going to continue doing our book clubs and our small groups, whether in person or virtually. We're just going to play that by ear, but we're going to continue on being a support to you guys as we get through this together. And we can get together virtually or whatever, but we're going to continue our programming. And if you're not a member, I hope that you will either join as a regular general member. It's only $25 a year. Just go to the website and join. The business members, we are trying to promote spiritual businesses and really connect people who are awakening and need holistic healing services. We have several on the call who do that right now, and they're business members. So that's just $75 a year. So anyway, I just hope that you can connect into us as we all kind of weather the storm together. So thank you all.